Grains have never been good for you, ever. The American Dietetics Association kind of sold out the American people, but I can't blame them. I mean, this is just unconsciousness. But there's nothing healthy about starch. Unfortunately, we have so many millions of people starving that the best economic way to get to them is grains. Always avoid dead animals. Always avoid proteins, your grains, your beans, your nuts. Get rid of those worthless, crappy foods. They're not even, get rid of those. We can argue about the health of grains till hell freezes over and it won't change. They're fattening, they create acidosis. We have to get more savvy on what we've been doing in some of these countries with the starches and the milks and dairy products and the high proteins. You know, this is universally broken down the GI tract and kidneys in people. High protein diets. Bad, bad, very bad. What else have we got? Breads, grains. Someone argued how grains are healthy for you. What is healthy about a grain? What is a grain? It's a polysaccharide. Now, polysaccharide is complex sugar. Is there something healthy about complex sugar? Hell, half the people are bitching about sugars in the first place. And then they're eating grains? That's complex sugar. That's a lot of fructose and glucose bonded together. We don't give them to animals. Farmers don't give grains to animals unless they want to fatten them up and keep fat on them. Don't need to. You don't need to give corn to horses. They do well on grass. Nobody messes with horses that are eating grass out there. Strong horses are, they can be fearful. So grains, nothing healthy about grains. Have people lived on them? Yeah, people have sustained on them. They've had to. But check the difference between grain eaters and raw food eaters. Big, huge difference. And grain eaters look like grain eaters, you know. There's nothing healthy. Acidosis. And again, all the dog food, all the dog manufacturers are trying to put grain-free. Well, why would the grains are so healthy? Why are all the, like Purina and stuff, trying to get away from grains? They're not healthy. There's a big reason why America is obese. You know, grains are bad, bad, bad. And they're mostly acidic, except for quinoa and maybe millet. You know, you have some alkaline grain, but you still have a complex sugar on your hands. Not overly nutritious, enzyme inhibitors again, phytic acid again, all these other things again. So I really don't, you know, I'm very well working with animals for years with grains and even dried grains, no processed grains, and still fattens them up. You don't process oats, you feed animals raw oats and they'll fatten them up like crazy. I don't know. I mean, we used to fatten our cows and hogs up for market with grains. I fattened up horses before and learned I didn't want to do that. That's when I moved from oats to alfalfa, and they ran better, stronger. I don't see that in any creature on the planet but the Homo sapien. For those with the candida problem, grains are always going to be a battle, that sort of thing. So if that's a battle for you, once you get the candida pretty much under control and your body cleaned out, the craving for grains actually goes away. Grains are definitely not in the picture. But, you know, that would be better than protein. We're talking about grains here, and grains versus meats and stuff. What's healthy about a grain? Why do we give grains to hogs and cattle? That's right, to fatten them up. Because grains are just starch, complex carbohydrates. A carbohydrate isn't bad, that's fruits and vegetables. But complex carbohydrates are starches, too much sugar. And of course, most grains are acidic. So I'm opposed to grains and beans. These are high phytic acid foods. They're dormant foods. They have enzyme inhibitors. And yeah, you can sprout them. Okay. But grains, and beans, dried beans. I mean, high phytic acid inhibits calcium absorption and utilization. You know, nothing, and they're dead unless you sprout them. So, you know, there's nothing healthy about these things. There's a fetish about these things, I think. We're so used to heavy foods. Well, once you become a light eater, so to speak, you can't go back to heavy eating. You know, some people like that heavy, bloaty feeling, and until you learn the other side, you go, wow, I feel light and I feel good. I don't even know I have a body. And then you go back to something heavy, and it's like, oh, that hurt. And that's part of the problem.